Cheers. We're drinking that communion juice, that Welch's Concord grape.
It's so good. It's like when you get communion and you have that little piece of bread and then you have the communion juice and it's just Welch's grape juice. You're just like, could use a little bit more.
Listen, after that church
especially where you are. It's some communion. Establish that covenant again. My goodness. This is my blood.
Let's grab our whiteboards, okay? I have a series of questions for you.
Ooh.
We're going to get right down to it, okay?
Okay.
And this is just, on a weekly basis, we'll say. On a weekly basis, who does most of the cooking? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ed, Theresa. Okay. I like this. That means, okay. Whoever cooks, does the other person do dishes?
No, Ed does the dishes.
I do dishes.
So you do the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, next question. On a weekly basis, who does most of the laundry? Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Theresa. Okay.
I do the laundry.
On a weekly basis, who's in charge of getting Melly to and from on a daily basis? Up, it looks like. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Theresa. Okay.
Yeah.
Me. Okay. I like that. Okay. So, you can put your whiteboards down. What I learned from this is that Theresa is 1,000% not Ed's slave.
That's right. I am not a slave.
And after the break, we will be talking about, is your wife a slave?
Yes.
All right, we are back. And now this conversation, and I don't personally think that any man's wife should be a slave.
That's
but
right.
This conversation is being had from both the husband and the wife are working full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
All right, so Theresa, can you tell us about, because when you shot this to the group text, I was like, okay, where did this come from? Can you tell us where this came from?
Yes. Okay, so I was watching this TikTok and this lady had quit her job and her husband was like, why did you quit your job? Like, we need both incomes. And the lady said, well, I have to do all the cooking, all the cleaning. I have to get our kids to and from school. Whenever they're sick, I have to take off of work. And everything falls on me. But I also have to contribute half of my income to our household in order for it to survive. But you don't do any of the other stuff. So you don't take care of the house, you don't take care of the kids, but I have to also work. So no, since I do all this stuff, then you should work. And that's where it came from, where it was like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, he treats her like a slave. A slave is an indentured servant, which means everything I do is for free and I don't get anything in return. So that's not a partnership. That's slavery.
I mean, I agree. I don't know. I'm here again, so I don't get fined.
You said, I agree.
You are Marshawn Lynch. Like, what are you talking about? Who's finding you?
So, why do you think... So, I think that's antiquated anyways, that someone expects the wife to do everything.
It's so common. It's so common.
I thought we've moved past that as a society.
No, we have not.
So I would say this. So men who, hopefully I've seen men who are making a certain amount of money, they would want to try to take care of their spouse. And so if you're financially able, first off, if you had that conversation with the woman that you're married to, that this is how it's going to be. I'm going to take care of all the bills, financial, anything that has to do with finance, I'll handle it and you handle the rest. That's agreement between you two.
Right.
The issue that I have, and I think people are so short-sighted, is in a marriage, finances fluctuate. It's going to go up and down. So if you married somebody that's with you because you've had a certain level of finances, and if your finances go, I mean, you can't be mad if your spouse leaves, because then the dynamic changed. What they agreed to which was so short-sighted because it was financial based.
Right.
Your finances leave. She didn't sign up for anything else. So how can you be mad if she leaves?
Ooh, that's deep.
Okay.
We've seen that too. It's very common. Like, if you guys agree that financially the man's going to support the family and the wife's going to take care of everything else, you can't really be mad if things shift. But if she does go back to work, then you do have to take on the other parts of that responsibility. Like, the thing that really burns me is when I hear men say, oh, I have to babysit my kids. You're married. You live in the household with your children. What do you mean babysit your children? Like, these are your kids. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make logical sense to me. Or if I see like a woman surrounded by her children and the man's just like out living his life, it's like, okay, so what about the balance? Like, where is the balance in all of that? Like, she's not a slave.
Question. Do you feel that a man cooking is quote unquote, because I've seen this on the internet, men who cook are sassy?
That is so stupid. Some women, first off, cannot cook.
Yeah.
At all. Like, just are not good cooks.
My mom was a good cook, but my dad was the one who cooked the most in my household.
Yeah. And like, for a while, Ed really took over cooking because I was just done. I was tired, didn't have time. Ed kicked in, he started cooking. So it's like it's a give and take. Like, sometimes you got it and sometimes you don't. And your spouse has to come in. Like, we all, like, I saw this thing on TikTok again saying like, hey, sometimes my husband and I look at each other and we're like, hey, I got 80% and he's like, I got 20%. And sometimes it's reverse. And when it is reverse, you got to kick in. So if you've got most of the energy to be able to handle the things that need to happen in the house that day, then it's your day. There's got to be a balance to life. It can't just be that a woman who's working has to also do all of those traditional role responsibilities.
At what point does the partnership kick in? You have, let's say, even if you're a man and you're taking care of all the finances, like, that's great. You're taking care of all the finances. And so look at all the other things you're asking your spouse to do. Take care of the kids, take care of the home, take care of themselves, please you sexually, let them have a life. Everything else that they're doing, only thing you're bringing to the table is money. Okay, for that dynamic, that might work. If you make enough money, that might work. You're an athlete, you're a businessman, that might work. But when that dynamic changes and you're not making the same amount of money, are you kicking in with anything else? I look at, and Theresa, having conversations with Theresa, I'm looking like, man, how much stuff she deals with just on a day-to-day, because we both work, and then she's still doing other stuff. But for us as men, having a high sex drive too, so you want her to work a full day, take care of the kids, do everything she got to do, and still come home and act like, sex you like a porn star. And so I'm like, yo, like, at what point, like, of course, a woman is going to feel like she's a slave. Like, only thing you're doing is just asking her to do more stuff. And if you're a man that's not even appreciating the stuff that she does, you shouldn't even be married.
Right. Because some men seem like they just want to get married just so they can have all the other benefits. Like, for some men, their reason for getting married is so that they have somebody that can take care of their kids and clean their floors and wash their dishes and wash their drawers and drop it like it's hot every night. Like, that's their purpose for getting married.
At least they get married, because people want that when you're a girlfriend, boyfriend, which I don't understand. That's
bogus. You're not getting all the wifely goods, and you didn't even pay for the cow.
What? Okay, so let's go here. So I agree with you. Women should not be slaves in marriage. Period. Should women be slaves, girlfriend, boyfriend? So, like, what are we doing with this?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You should not be giving away everything. You should not be cleaning his house and cleaning his bathrooms and washing his drawers. If you're a girlfriend.
What if you live together?
Why would we be living together? Because I'm not about to pay half of your bills and you ain't putting no ring on my finger. Where's the commitment?
But are you saying that people don't live together without being married?
No, people do live together without being married. I just think it's stupid.
Ooh.
I think you shouldn't do it. I think it's a waste of your time as a woman. If you want to be in a committed relationship with somebody, what if he gets injured and his mama don't like you? So he goes to the hospital and you can't even get up there to go see him because mama says she don't like you. You aren't in a committed anything. You just live together. You're roommates. Ooh. And roommates should split responsibilities. So that means wash your own drawers. That means wash your own dishes, take out your trash, clean up your mess, because we're roommates. We're not in a committed relationship.
So I get this too. And if y'all know me, I'm not talking about you directly. I'm just putting this out here just in general. So I get this like, oh, he won't marry me. He doesn't want to propose to me. And I'm just like, okay, what are you doing that is benefiting him to ask you to marry him? Like, what are you doing? If he's getting everything as a girlfriend, he already smashing. He already got your undivided attention. Y'all already living together. Y'all already sharing bills. Y'all already got the same bank account. Y'all driving the same car. Live together.
Some of y'all got kids together.
Got kids together. You got all this stuff is intertwined together. The only thing he see marriage is another bill. You have not
a piece of paper or the right to his money.
You have not given him any incentive to marry you. I guarantee you this. You wasn't having sex with him, I guarantee you get married quick. If you weren't living with him, I guarantee you get married quicker. If y'all wasn't living like a married couple, y'all would get married quicker.
And people who live together be having married people problems. You could just walk away. Like when we're married, we are forced to deal with each other's mess. We got to figure it out. Because we've made a commitment to each other where we have decided that we are going to figure this thing out. We don't want to get divorced. We've made the choice. We made a sober-minded decision that we would like to be married to each other. So if that's the case, it's like, we got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I don't like that you're messy. We got to figure it out. I don't like the way you do this. We have to figure it out. But when we live together, trust me, I'll call my brother in a heartbeat. Come get me.
I can already anticipate some of the comments, and I'm going to ask you this question. So, if you're a girlfriend, aren't you supposed to, prepare yourself as a wife? So, what you're doing now as a girlfriend is how you'll be as a wife. So, why don't you give me all the wife benefits now?
You ain't putting no ring on this finger. You haven't made a solid commitment to me. So, you're not about to get all the wifely goods. I'll cook you dinner every now and again so you know I can cook. Mm-hmm. You're going to see these meals. They're luxurious. They're wonderful. You're going to be full and happy and satisfied. But are you going to get it every night? Absolutely not. Mm. You can see how clean my house is. You'll know that your house will also be clean. Mm-hmm. You can see how I interact with children based off my nieces, my nephews, your nephews. I may even watch one of your nieces and nephews. But we don't need to have kids together for me to understand what kind of parent you're going to be. So you're supposed to be observing. Dating is supposed to be an observation. Let me see what you're like right now. Before we got married, I knew you were messy. Messy. I knew it full out. So there was no question in my mind. We're going to get married. I'm going to have to understand what it means to have a lived-in house. Because our house was pristine. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be very different for me. Mm-hmm. I knew that going in because I was observing you while we were dating. I knew your habits. I knew how much you like to go to church. All this other stuff when we were dating. So that when we got married, it wasn't a shock like, oh my God, like he goes to church every night. Like he had been going to church every night. These were not new things. And a lot of times people say we have to live together so I can observe how they're like, when it all shuts down. Girl, please. The same way he's messy if you open that closet and everything's stuffed in there, he's a messy guy. Period. Like there's nothing else you need to observe. Like he's messy. It is what it is. So it's like this is who you're marrying. If his drawers are on the bathroom floor when you came to visit, That's to be expected. You can't untrain that. It's going to be years and years of like, pick up your drawers. Pick up your drawers. And we look under there too. So it's like, you know, all these things. These are not new things. So dating is supposed to be an observation. Pay attention. Look around. These are the things. This is the person that you're going to marry. You don't have to live with that person to know these things. Now, if you're living together for financial reasons, which is what I'm mostly seeing, it's difficult these days to live alone.
True.
So they're living together for financial purposes. Different scenario, same problems. Like, he's probably still not going to marry you any faster.
So back to the married people before we close out. That was good, though. That was good. So how do y'all handle everything? Because you're both very successful and you're both very busy and y'all got a lot of stuff going on. So how do you handle the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the errands, the shopping, taking care of your child? Like,
you have, I think, first off, like we always say, it's communication. We have certain things where like, okay, these are our go-to, like me, dishes, Theresa, laundry. And then everything else is kind of, now we're at the point where we're staffing our life. So now we are, we can hire people to come help do stuff because it's like you avoid problems. Like, you know what? I just don't have it to clean. And Theresa now pregnant. She just don't have it to clean. All right, God blessed us. Let's hire somebody else to clean, hire somebody to watch Melly, and I can spend some time with my wife, or I can get some rest, or, we can have some personal time. So if you're able to do that, learn to staff your life. But until you get to that point, have that communication like, okay, if you do this, I can do this. I can't do this tonight. Can you help me? I can help you tomorrow. It's a communication. It's not just, oh, I thought you were going to do that. No, you had no communication. You had no verbal, conversation with your spouse. And so it's going to be an argument. So that's how I got through it.
Yeah, a wise woman once told me, her name is Nikki Bounds. Thank you so much. She said, you need to take a look at everything that you have to get done in your house and calendar it. And then from there, if you get too busy, you need to talk to your spouse about can they do the thing that was supposed to get done for that day. Don't push it to the next day. Ask your spouse to kick in. And then when you do make enough money, staff your life. Get somebody to come help clean the house. Get somebody that can help you with your kids. Staff your life appropriately so that you can manage everything you have to do. And I took that to heart because she was our premarital counselor. And I was like, okay, this is what she said, and I really did it. We really do laundry on certain days. We really do certain people's laundry on certain days. We really clean bathrooms on certain days. We really clean different rooms on certain days. And
so a schedule.
It's a schedule. It's a schedule. And it works out really well for us with our one child. It worked really, really well. Now, I don't know with 2 kids how it will work, but for our one, it really does work well.
I think even the single people can glean from that as a church. So, because for real, because like for me, I may be on the messy side at times. And for me, cleaning becomes a big chore instead of saying Mondays bathroom, Tuesdays kitchen, Wednesdays living room. That makes a lot of sense.
It helps so much if you're just like, okay, on Mondays, I do Melly's room and I do her laundry. On Tuesdays, I do all the bathrooms and I wash towels. On Wednesdays, I do all the floors. And it's just like you try to keep yourself on this kind of regimented schedule. And at first it's like, oh man, like I'm dictating to myself what I need to do. But it really does work and it just becomes a process and a flow. So then if it's like, oh, I'm sick today, I'm like, hey, Ed, can you do the floors? So he'll do the floors because it's like, this is what we do on Wednesdays.
I love that.
Cheers to another great episode. The question this week is, how do you and your partner share responsibilities in your home?
Oh, yes. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Have a good week.